The city seemed ordinary that afternoon, its sunlit streets glowing with the illusion of safety, when a trembling young woman stepped into the path of a man feared by everyone in the district. She had no idea who he was, no idea her desperate people never approached him, and no idea that this single act of courage, born from fear, would change everything. Cars slowed around them, pedestrians paused, and even the air felt suspended as she looked up at him, with pleading eyes, and begged him to walk her home because a man had been following her for days. The towering figure of the Mafia boss stood in disbelief, frozen by a request no one had ever dared ask of him. And yet what happened next would shake the darkest corners of his life, in a way no enemy ever had. If you believe in kindness, miracles, and second chances, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Light of Kindness. It helps stories like this reach someone who needs hope today. Her name was Serena Vale, a quiet 19-year-old student who carried a small sketchbook everywhere she went. Her world was soft, gentle, and unnoticed until recently. For the last week, she had been terrified to walk home. A man she did not know, a stranger who always appeared behind her near the market, had followed her 3 times. She pretended to make phone calls, stopped by busy shops, took long detours, but the shadow always returned. That day, when she saw him again near the crossing, stepping closer with a disturbing calmness, she panicked and looked around for anyone who might help. People walked by immersed in their routines, eyes down, unsure, unwilling. Then she saw a man stepping out of a black SUV, tall and composed, wearing a charcoal suit that somehow looked heavier than the day itself. Without knowing his reputation, his name, or his world, she ran toward him with a final burst of courage. The man was Rafael Corenzo, a name whispered across the city with caution. He led a criminal empire that had its roots deep in old family debts and unspoken loyalties. He was not known for mercy, he was known for silence and for settling conflicts in ways most preferred not to imagine. But Serena did not see that side of him. She only saw someone who was strong, someone who wouldn't be afraid to step between her and danger. She stood in front of him shaking, unable to control her breath, and asked him to walk her home so that the man following her would go away. Rafael, who had survived ambushes, betrayals, gunfire, and a life carved by violence, froze not because he felt threatened, but because he had never seen such raw fear mixed with such innocent trust aimed at him. From that day, Rafael became a quiet guardian in her life. He didn't interfere or demand her time. He simply ensured she was safe. Sometimes he walked her to the bus stop. Other times he waited outside the florist shop to escort her home. Serena found comfort in his presence, even though she still didn't understand who he truly was. She saw a man who was distant yet strangely gentle, someone who looked at the world as if anticipating danger at every corner. Rafael, on the other hand, saw in Serena a fragile but resilient soul who reminded him of a version of life he had never lived. Their connection grew slowly, shaped not by romantic fantasy but by shared vulnerability. He never crossed boundaries, never tried to pull her into his world. He simply stayed close, and she allowed him to, finding in him the sense of protection she had always lacked. Over time, she learned subtle things about him. The way he stood slightly angled whenever someone approached, the way he scanned streets without seeming to, the way he tensed at sudden noises. She sensed he was no ordinary man, but she trusted him anyway. The breakthrough came one warm afternoon when she invited him inside for a cup of tea. Her apartment was tiny but filled with sunlight and soft colors. Raphael sat quietly, observing the sketches on her walls, landscapes, flowers, street corners while she prepared tea. She told him she drew because it was the only way she could hold beauty still in a world that moved too fast. Raphael found himself unexpectedly moved by her explanation, as if she had unknowingly described the emptiness inside him. That same day, his men informed him that the person orchestrating the harassment was preparing something bigger. Raphael realized he had to act before Serena got hurt. He handled it the way he handled threats his entire life, with efficiency and finality. But something felt different this time. His choices were fueled not by control or dominance, but by a fierce protective instinct he had never experienced. Once the threat was eliminated, Raphael returned to Serena's world as though nothing had happened. But she sensed a shift in him. His usually composed expression carried a weight she could not name. She asked if he was all right, and Raphael for the first time admitted he had been afraid of losing her. The confession startled even him. Serena placed a hand over his and thanked him for being there when no one else was. Their lives didn't merge dramatically or romantically in a way movies often show. Instead, they formed a quiet bond that both understood deeply. Raphael didn't walk away from his world, that was impossible, but he distanced himself from the harshest parts of it. Serena found strength in knowing she wasn't alone anymore, and Raphael found a strange peace in protecting someone innocent, someone who had trusted him without question on a bright afternoon when the world felt dangerous. Their bond became a reminder that sometimes the most unexpected people enter our lives at the exact moment we need them most, reshaping everything we believe about fear, strength, and humanity. Serena once felt like an invisible shadow in a city too large to care. Raphael felt like a ghost of a man whose life was defined by power, yet together they discovered something neither had known: how to hold safety, connection, and a quiet form of hope that asked for nothing but sincerity. In the end, what happened froze Raphael, because Serena had not asked a dangerous man for protection. She had asked a wounded man for a chance to be something better, and he rose to it. Not because he wanted redemption, but because her fear awakened the part of him that still remembered what it meant to care. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Light of Kindness. Your support helps more people find hope in the stories we tell. Special request: leave a heartfelt comment about the moment in the story that moved you the most.